This is Matthew Spradlin. I'm with ROK Comics, and we're here at Ghostbusters Fan Fest.
It's amazing. So what are you showing up here today?
So we are launching ROK Comics into the stratosphere of the comic world, and we are doing a few new titles, and one of which is this very cool true story that happened during the end of World War II. It's called The Devils.
Oh, I love history.
Yes, this was a crazy true story that happened, and it is hopefully one day going to be developed into something beyond the comic book, as it is. Yeah.
So what is the story about for the history?
So at the end of World War II, the Japanese forces were dug in on all the islands in the South Pacific, and the Allied forces were pulling them out. And on a little tiny island called Ramri, which is in the Bay of Bengal, there was a garrison of 900 Japanese soldiers, and they were dug in, and they made a run for it through the back end of the island to try to get into Burma. What they didn't know is that in that 10-mile space of swamp, it happens to be home to the most saltwater crocodiles on the planet. So 900 men went into that swamp, and 20 men made it out. The crocodiles ate them all up. It was a true horror story.
Wow.
Yeah.
You wrote it. How did you find out about that?
So I was working for Alibaba in China, and I was traveling from Shanghai down through all the southern cities of China, and we ended up in Hong Kong. And when we were in Hong Kong, some of the locals told me about China, which just so happens to be building a refinery on that same island of Ramri, because China can't get its oil fast enough these days. And so they're building a refinery, and they're gonna send the oil in through Burma and through the back end into China. So as we were talking about that little island, the locals told me, well, did you know the Japanese got eaten up?
Wow.
And if you know the history of World War II, there's no love lost that a bunch of Japanese got chewed up.
Yeah. Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Cool. So let's go through other titles you got going too.
Sure. So this is another new title, which is very cool. It's Heroes at Large. So what the premise is that these heroes, the Kitten, Catman, Captain Jet, Black Cobra, and Airboy, those are characters in the public domain. They've been around since the 40s and 50s.
Wow.
So the premise is that they were frozen in the 40s and thawed out currently, and so they're having to deal with this very bizarre, politically correct new world, and they're not doing so well. And this is Black Cobra. He's been assigned to turn them into a team.
Well, once again, how did you find out about this?
Well, this was an idea that I came up with another guy, Jonathan Kendrick, who is one of the partners in ROK Comics.
Okay.
And we were like, well, what would that be like if all those heroes that were around in the 40s, 50s, they didn't have any superpowers. They were like guys that just used their fists and or a gun.
And had a cool costume.
And had a cool costume. So what would that be like for them having to deal with today's very lots of rules in not only their professional life, but their personal life as well.
Very cool.
Yeah. So it's think of it in the same vein as the show Archer. It's for big kids.
I love it. I want to check that out.
Yeah.
You working with some technology or something?
Yeah, we are. So with some of our titles, what we're doing is that there's an app that you can download to your phone, right? And once you have that app downloaded, the Devil's app or one of the other apps, you actually hold it over the page of the comic, and when it reads this symbol, it comes to it comes to life in animation.
Oh.
So all the pages have been animated by an animation team. And then once we launch with the 3D app on the Glasses free 3D phone, right? Then you'll be able to see all the animation in glasses-free 3D. It literally comes up off the phone. Have you had a chance to see
No,
that?
I should try it.
Oh my gosh.
Well, when we're done the interview.
Yeah, we'll show you the 3D, the glasses free. It's amazing. Like, you can't believe what you're seeing. So,
It is, very cool.
and the phone is done by a company, Rocket.
Very nice.
Yeah.
All right, so where can people order these stuff online, websites, social media?
Yeah, the phone is being sold through Walmart online, but the comics you could get at any comic retailer. We distribute through Diamond Comics. That's the one. That's the mothership.
Cool. Now we're here at the Sony lot right now. Are we going to be anything else coming up, like say Dingo Comic Con?
Yeah, for sure. We're going to be doing a lot of the cities with Wizard World. So we're going to be going to Philadelphia, Chicago, some smaller cities like Tulsa, Oklahoma, Toledo, cities on the East Coast. So we're also going to be doing GeekCon in Shreveport, and then we'll be back around in Austin, Texas, and in Louisiana again for another convention with Wizard World.
Very cool. All right.
Yeah.
So what is on the website for the information?
Yeah, you can go to rockcomics.com. You can also go to Rocket Official is the Twitter handle for everything Rocket, and then Rock Comics on Twitter as well. So that's everything that's Rock Comics. And if you want to keep up with the latest and greatest of what's going on in the pop culture sphere, Bionic Buzz, that's who you go to.